This is Professor Wilches, and today I'm going to be talking about binary numbering. We're going to try to explain how to convert binary to decimal and decimal to binary. The objectives for today: the binary number definition, converting from binary to decimal, converting from decimal to binary. So let's go first with the definition of the binary system, and this is a definition that you can find in the internet. Binary is a numeric system which uses two numerals to represent all real numbers, while the most common counting system, the decimal system, uses 10 numerals. Binary uses only 0 and 1. Each digit in the binary number system therefore represents power of 2. Let's go and check a little bit of the history. In 1854, the central paper of the binary system was published by the mathematician George Boole, and this is correspond to the famous Boolean algebra. When you start talking about the tables, the AND OR tables, true and true, true or true, and then you always get an answer of one value, true or false, and that's the difference from the binary system that we use with the computer. This particular binary system in general is saying that we can use just two numerals, two representation, and that could be yes or no, that could be true or false, but always we're going to get one answer. And later on they started using for the circuits, and in those cases we're talking about current or no current. And later on in the 1940s, it was when we started using the binary number with the computers, and was more complex, just not to get one final answer of true or false, or current or not current, but in this case we create the system, or it was created in the Bell Labs, and with this system the computer can do any subtraction or any addition. And in addition to that, we can represent all the characters and all the numbers, and not only whole numbers but also real numbers. So the binary number is based on the two number. That's the nature of that, and that's because the computer only understands voltage or no voltage. It only understands emission of light or not emission of light. That's why we always use only two values, zeros or ones. Now, how can we convert binary to decimal? For us, it's very hard to see zeros and ones and understand what it means that. So the easy way is using a table, and we create this table with the number 1, then we start multiplying by 2. 1 by 2 is equal to 2, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, and it will get to the 128. And in my example, I'm using only 8 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 columns. And this is because we are trying to mapping how the computer works. And remember that the computer has its own units to work. It's the bit, which is 0, 1, and the byte, which is the composition of 8 bits. And now from where we are getting these values? And we say in the beginning that is base 2. So the base 2 to the power of 0 is 1. And remember that it's not just 2. Any number to the power of 0 is 1. 2 to the power of 1 is always just the base. In this case is 2. We have 10 to the power of 1 is going to be 10. 10 to the power of 0 is going to be 1. And we continue doing that. 2 to the power of 7, if you do the multiplication, multiply 7 times 2, that you're going to get 128. After we create the table and we know from where we are getting those values, then it's very easy to apply to an example. Using an example is the easiest way to understand it. So the first thing that we had to do is get the number that we want to convert to decimal, and then we just populate that number into our table. So this number, we put it in the table using the 8 different columns that we have. And after that, what we had to start doing is multiplying the number that we have in our table for the value, or by the value. And after a while, we start seeing that any number multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. So we only want to take in consideration the value that had 1. And when we got those values that it had the 1, we just get the corresponding value 128, 16, 4, and 1, and then we add them up, those numbers, and we get the corresponding value in decimal. Very easy to do it. Now let's review how can we convert from decimal to binary. And for converting from binary to decimal, we use the same table. But in this case, let's do it with one example. Like I say, the best way to learn things is doing with examples. Let's convert the 167 decimal to binary. And we do it checking this number to the largest number that we have in our table. And we say, is 167 greater or equal than 128? And the answer is yes. 167 is greater than 128. So we put the 1 there, and then we subtract that number, and it's going to be 39. And then we keep going on our table to the next column. 39 is greater or equal than 64, and the answer is 0. It's false. 39 is not greater or equal than 64, so we put a 0 here. And then we continue to the next column, checking that value. Is 39 greater or equal than 32? And the answer is true. So we just do the math. 39 minus 32 is equal to 7, and we put the 1 here. Now we have only 7, and we keep going, checking with the next column. Is 7 greater or equal than 16? And the answer is false, so we put a 0. The next one is 7 greater or equal than 8? False, put a 0. Is 7 greater or equal than 4? The answer is yes, so we put a 1 here, and we go to the next column. Is 3 greater or equal than 2? The answer is yes, so we put a 1 here, and we do the math. 2 minus 1 is 1, and then we go to the next column. Is 1 greater or equal than 1? And the answer is yes, so we put a 1 here. And now we just add them up, those numbers, and we come out with 167. So 167, this is the representation in binary. Very easy to do it. Just try some examples, and you're going to be mastering the conversion from binary to decimal and decimal to binary. So just to summarize, we are saying that the principles of binary numbering that we will find in different in other fields, not just only in the computer field. How we can convert from binary to decimal using our table, and the same, we had to use a table to convert from decimal to binary, but in that case we had to start subtracting and checking to each column. If you have any question, please submit those questions to my channel, and please give me the likes. And if you have any suggestion for any other topics, I'm going to start posting topics in order to get prepared for the certification of the CNA certification, the network certification of the Cisco.